Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and here's what's made news this week. A ban list reveal for the OCG, causing players to wonder what the TCG list might have in store. A ban list for Master Duel, causing players to wonder what the TCG list might have in store. Archetype reveals for the OCG's upcoming Tactical Tri-Pack, making a potential repeat of 2016 a possibility. Placeholder text for a tease of an upcoming story. Welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. It was an eventful week for Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, not in the TCG, with the OCG showing us the things that we won't be getting hit in our region so that they can make the two formats mildly distinct. That's right, the OCG ban list dropped, and it's a cool reminder of how different our formats truly are, because they banned Artifact Scythe and Summon Limit, two cards that the TCG has not been playing with for quite some time. This is because despite how much we shit on the TCG side of things, they do try to somewhat balance things for us in the absence of the format warping bug, which of course this list is still notable for the absence of the format warping bug, which is not moved again since that one jump scare we got some time ago. They usually wait, of course, about 6 to 12 months in the TCG to hit the things that actually need to be hit, just so that we have something to bitch about. And that's because Konami, of course, understands the importance of the saying that all publicity is good publicity, or some other copium shit like that. For the meta hits, they elected to limit Malice Dormouse as well as Sword Ryziel, which follows a limit of X Ryziel on their last list. That, coupled with a limit to 7th Tachyon, makes Ryziel that much less consistent, limiting both the searchers and the generic searcher they use to sometimes search the searchers. Malice is now on the list as well, although charts from Road to the King show that Malice needed the hits more broadly, especially when you consider the fact that it was the best performing deck and the new Adignister support slots in really well into Malice, because as the German man had said, Cybers is just such a well-designed type for monsters. All that means we can of course expect a healthy 3 more months of these decks in the OCG, and that the TCG will similarly be slow to hit these decks because money. Or because they're still pretty new, all things considered, and don't really need to die, just need to maybe be toned down or slapped on the wrist a bit. But for most people, that just means money. So take from that what you will. The Limited Dimension Shifter is also notable for giving players a lethal dose of copium that the TCG will follow suit, which would be really cool, but then I remember how long they had us suffering in the mines quite literally, and I'm not getting my hopes up because I can't be hurt again, not like that. Grass also now joins the TCG for the OCG side being at 1, although they lost a copy going from 2 to 1, whereas we went from 0 to 1, which means that we kind of combined forces to have a limited spell card. Also really funny seeing that Pearly is coming off the list, because it's like, oh yeah, that deck was like good at one point in time. I'm a fan of it. I like the kitty cat. It's just, you know, they act up sometimes, and apparently we had to put them on a list. And for Unlimits, it's the same as it ever was, that being unremarkable. 3 monkey boards to do nothing with a Pendulum Summon, even though they have Electromite? Oh, say it ain't so. Morphing Jar to 3? Woe is me! A Snatch Steal Unlimit? More like I'm at my limit of how many more times I can do this particular joke. Masterpiece to 3 also means that we're definitely getting it on our next list, though. Gonna call that now, because that mean is apparently flying to the unlimited list everywhere but here as of yet. What does this all mean, and how does it affect the OCG's metagame? I don't care. Whoa, crazy, I know. Most notable is that it didn't hit Blue Eyes, confirming the theory that they'll slowly murder the format around Blue Eyes to make it the best deck by virtue of not being the best deck that got hit. And then, of course, it'll win Worlds again to confirm the Blue Eyes bias that is not unique to the marketing or the player base, as seen before in 2016 and now again will be in 2025, calling it now. We're of course waiting for the TCG list still, and hoping that it'll be revealed at YCS Houston on the first weekend of April, where Fiend Smith will probably get a kick in the dick, possibly a light hit to Maziel. Maziel? Yeah, that's it. Malice and or Ryziel. Maziel. And we as the player base of course have to come to terms with the fact that Odeon is apparently a solid deck. I think it's got tops like every week since it released, which is more than I thought. I don't think it would have been terrible, but I didn't predict 3 weeks of topping, so heck, if that means I can yell "the man" anytime that card is played against me, I suppose that's a small price to pay. And you can do that too if you want. If you want to get banned from locals, just scream every time someone plays a card. Give it a shot. Yell at the top of your lungs to be ostracized from the world for operating at the wrong volume. Or don't. You probably shouldn't, but it'd be a funny story. And now, just for a change of pace, let's move from the ban list to the ban list, that being the OCGs to Master Duels. And would you look at that, Beatrice is banned again. What is that, like a hat trick for that card getting banned on the 3 formats? Not quite, actually, because the TCG banned it the 2 lists ago in terms of the OCG banning it, or something to that effect. Either way, we were on top of it, not for any particular reason other than, of course, punishing Farfa for leaving his deal with Konami or something to that effect. Definitely not because it's a generic extra deck monster that has a Foolish Burial effect, which is incredibly strong, if not one of the strongest effects in the game, and also both the generic extra deck monsters that have that same kind of effect were previously banned before this. Definitely was targeted hate towards the funny streamer man, which would allow me to make for a very funny clickbait title if I decided to sell out just a little bit more, but I don't know, I did it to Josh and I felt a little sleazy, so we'll see what happens. They've also limited Sang and Kaiman, or whatever the name of that stupid Tenpai card is, for the sole purpose, of course, of highlighting how absurd Tenpai players' opening hands can be, to enable your rage when they'll open, you know, that and 4 other one-ofs that'll just come together to make the perfect hand to kill you when they're going second. That isn't even a joke or like a haha funny bit. That's a factual event that's going to happen, and you will be pissed about it. That is an inevitability. We also got Block Dragon back following Master Duel's trend of releasing shit from the list before anywhere else, which is neat for, I guess, Adamancipator players who are still coping without Hulk or one of the other broken cards they used before a lot of things in that deck got banned. Remember when Master Duel semi-limited, what was it, Analyzer, level 4? God, those early lists were something, man. The Blue Boy is the only one that comes to mind that was like truly broken for Adamancipator, and I guess Block Dragon, but it's back now, so we'll see what happens. And once again, Pearly Lee coming to 3. That's right, you probably forgot about Pearly being a thing in the time since I mentioned it in the same video beforehand, but it was a thing and it was hit in multiple formats and is now slowly coming back, so maybe that's some more copium for you TCG players, who knows. Once again, it's a ban list where you go, that's it, but then you remember, all right, it's Master Duel, we get these like monthly, so it's allowed to be a that's it list. I think following the Duelist Cup, a number of people would have loved to see more hits to maybe Azamina or Fiendsmith cards, but 1 month is all you'll get for now. This is all you get for the month, okay? They obviously didn't want to address the real issues with the powerful decks because the cards are too new, and you probably don't want them if you did that because you spent a lot of UR dust getting the new cards because it's Master Duel. It's the standard model for ban lists, really. No one can be all that shocked. If you need something to help you see through the lack of hits you wanted, I suppose you can again laugh at Farfa's pet deck getting hit, or you cannot pick on a person that you don't actually know, since he is in fact a real individual and human being and not just a character on the internet. Choice is yours, friendo. I just love that Beatrice has been fine-tuned to specifically not be abusable in her own deck. Like, it's generic. If you make it generically, abuse the shit out of it. They don't care. But if you're playing Burning Abyss with this, you calm down, son. You're waiting a turn to get this effect. Never not gonna be funny to me. And in more OCG news, because there is fuck all for the TCG, the Tactical Tri-Pack, teased by the OCG to be released in June, has had the 3 archetypes that will be in it revealed. Dark Magician, Hero, and Mekanko are the 3 lucky decks, and I fully get 2 of those 3 choices. Dark Magician and Hero are fan favorites and guaranteed to sell pretty much any set they're put in, but Mekanko is out of place as hell in terms of those. I mean, congrats to Mekanko players who get to eat well or whatever, but if you had told me that Hero and Dark Magician were 2 of them, at no point would Mekanko have been my 3rd guess. I would have picked Harpy or some other GX or DM related deck. Truthfully, I'm only really salty because I have Hero and Dark Magician cards, but no Mekanko ones, so I can't put one of each in this display here. Instead, I had just to go with a sensible 3rd alternative to represent Mekanko, as this card clearly and visually does. Because, yeah, if you've bought Yu-Gi-Oh! Products over the last 10 years, you've acquired Hero cards and Dark Magician cards, regardless of whether or not you wanted them. They're just inevitable in this game, much like mediocre ban lists. Had it have been Harpy, I could have gotten away with it, but no, fucking Equip Spell Shenanigan Turbo, which hasn't topped since Isolde got banned, is the winning deck. That's neat. Screw my little display, I guess. What's neat about this isn't the fact that we're getting what looks like the shitty downgrade of Darklaw, but without the armor and rocking a cool cape. No, it's that Dark Magician is getting support so soon after Blue Eyes did. This happened before, with Blue Eyes' support from Shining Victories being followed by the Dark Illusions Dark Magician support. That support in particular was incredibly underwhelming compared to what Blue Eyes got, and its closest accomplishment would come from Jeff Jones taking a Dark Magician deck to top 34 at a YCS, if I'm not mistaken, just 2 tops shy of being an actual top. Now, that's the closest Dark Magician ever got to being a top cut deck, and if Dragoon engines count as Dark Magician decks, then I guess Phantom Knight was Dark Magician all along, so do not at me with that shit. What further proof do I need that time is a flat circle, and we are going to see mediocre support for Yugi's main man before the impossible, it becomes possible, and Jeff Jones gets prevented from topping with a shitty deck at an event he chose to play on a weekend because he was bored, I guess, and then Blue Eyes wins Worlds. That's where this is all going. Blue Eyes wins Worlds again. It is inevitable and guaranteed for 2025. To be clear, we just got like 3 pictures for what's coming in this and nothing else. I just really wanted to fit Jeff Jones's name into this because I like that it has the added alliterative appeal of having 2 J's. That's it. Also, there was a chance to shit on Dark Magician, and I guess Mekanko, but who knows? They're there. We'll get support for them at some point. New cards. That's crazy. What a shame. What a shame. Almost as much of a shame as me missing the chance to share this picture last week wherein Streamlabs, or Stream Elements, pardon me, absolutely destroyed and murdered YouTuber and streamer Farfa, which that's a real sequence of tweets. It happened on Thursday night or Friday morning after I had already made and filmed the update, which was a damn tragedy. But now I've gotten the chance to show it. And I will say, as a 54-year-old man, that is an alarming thing to be saying, that 23 and over is the seniors, but doesn't change the fact that Farfa is now dead. Rip to the king. That's right there with Beatrice or something. I don't know. That's all I got. And so that wraps it up for this week's update. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit like and subscribe. Not only will you impress your smoking Italian wife, but you will of course immediately become a true duelist. And if God is kind, you might even get to see me take out my phone here and throw a Pokeball at something in Pokemon Go. Just kidding, I don't know what I'm done. Bye. I get it. I'm feeding a Kyurem. How good does that look on camera? Whoa. Yep. There it is. Yep. Better pay $98 for this one. Let me tell you. There he is.